Okay, not Stephanie Jenkins pretending that a spider landed on her arm when we all saw that crispy little thing right there that is a roach, a full-blown baby roach, doing 360s, dancing and moving around all over her arm. I can only imagine how dirty her bedroom and her living room can get. And people are going to say that, yeah, she has kids. Of course, it's going to get dirty. I've always been a firm believer that there's a difference between messy and dirty. Messy is a toys here, toys there, kind of, and dirty is when there's filth and there's old food there and things are just festering. Her place is filthy. And what's wild is like she's mopping the walls every single day. For Stephanie Jenkins to be making videos to spunky little pop music, cleaning and whatever, her hotel motel is kind of dirty. I don't know how it happens. Like, does she kind of let her kids go around and supervise and just kind of wants it for content?
Stephanie Jenkins, also known as Resilient Jenkins on TikTok, is once again at the center of online controversy. And this time, things are far more alarming. What was once brushed off as just another messy mom content creator has now escalated into something much more serious. Stephanie has effectively transformed her family's unstable living situation into a content goldmine, posting constant videos from the cramped one-room motel she shares with her partner, Drew, and their children. But viewers aren't entertained, they're deeply concerned. In every corner of that small space, there's visible clutter. There's no separation between where the family eats, sleeps, and plays. The entire room functions as kitchen, bedroom, living space, and play area all at once. Instead of attempting to manage the environment for the sake of her children, Stephanie continuously sets up her phone to capture the chaos, almost as if the mess itself is part of the brand. She pumps out video after video with titles like Reset or Clean with Me, but her audience has caught on. Nothing is ever really clean. The dishes keep piling up, laundry overflows endlessly, and surfaces look untouched by any real effort. One video that particularly unsettled viewers involved Stephanie talking about donating some of the clothes buried in her laundry pile. But what she was offering up didn't resemble donations in any respectful sense. Items were visibly dirty, tattered, and even torn, some missing drawstrings or heavily worn out. Even more surprising, she admitted their poor condition in her captions, casually brushing it off. For people who rely on secondhand clothing to survive, this felt less like an act of kindness and more like someone unloading garbage and dressing it up as charity.
Man, it seems like a minute since I put up a cleaning video, but my baby is going through her 3-4 month regression period, and whew, I just have been full mama mode constantly. Not to mention my toddler's also going through his terrible twos, and I hate that term because there ain't nothing terrible about a 2-year-old. Let's just say tantrums have become a daily activity. Anyways, I've been waiting to get to this heaping pile of laundry, and it's just been calling my name. I knew I was going to end up with that Lisa basket full of stuff that we needed to take to donations because, if you know, you know, our kids are constantly growing, so there's always things that we need to go ahead and replace. I feel like it's just wise as a parent to routinely go through your kids' clothing, that way you get an idea of what they need. For instance, while I was going through all this stuff, I noticed that my kids are definitely going to need some summer stuff going into the summer. I finally decided to part with my favorite shorts, and let me tell you a little backstory about these shorts. I used to have a black string, but my toddler took them out. But I seen them in a music video with like Coi Leray. She was wearing the same shorts, I'm not even kidding you. So I got this 24 pack of pillowcases off of Amazon so I could like switch out the pillowcases often and wash them. While I was going through this process, my man brought me these delicious fried plantains. He put some kind of delicious glaze on it. I don't know what he did, but these literally taste like maple donut bites. I'm not even playing. It was delicious. I just thought I said that word too many times, so I thought I'd say it again. Now, like I said, we ended up with about a basket full of things we need to take to donations. Somehow or another, I was actually able to finish the whole process before my baby wanted to eat again. Before you come at me saying I have too much clothes, I'd like to see some other 30-year-old women who literally have just one bucket of clothing. You're judging me with your full walk-in closet. Okay, thank y'all for watching. Bye-bye now.
It raised real questions about whether Stephanie truly understands what it means to give with dignity, or whether she's just performing goodwill for likes and comments. Then there's the bigger issue, her children's living conditions. Watching her content closely, many notice that her kids are often seen in the same clothes across multiple posts. With the laundry situation clearly out of control, it now makes sense. The entire room is packed, bags, piles of clothes, random objects stacked wherever there's space. It's hard to imagine a child having room to just stretch out and play freely in such a congested environment. What's worse is that Stephanie once revealed in a post that she only washes her family's bedding twice a month. For a family packed tightly into a single motel room, that's not just inadequate, it's potentially harmful. Bed linens collect sweat, dead skin cells, body oils, and dust mites. For young children sleeping on them night after night, that can lead to all sorts of health issues, from skin irritation to respiratory problems. Another video sparked outrage when she showed a pile of dirty dishes left overnight, claiming she didn't want to wake the baby by cleaning. Understandable on the surface, no one wants to disrupt a sleeping child. But instead of rinsing the plates quietly or tidying up in a low-key way, she simply left it all out: sticky bowls, half-eaten food, crusted utensils. And keep in mind, this wasn't left in a kitchen, it was on the motel room floor, the same floor where her toddler plays barefoot, where the family moves around constantly. The idea of spoiled food and bacteria lingering in the same space as sleeping children disturbed many. The smell alone must have been overwhelming, not to mention the risk of pests like flies, ants, or worse creeping in. If what Stephanie chooses to show publicly looks like this, one can't help but wonder what it's like when the camera is off. The level of neglect she's normalized for her online audience is what truly has people worried. Mold, bacteria, food rot, these aren't just inconveniences, they're health hazards, especially in a small enclosed space with multiple children. But Stephanie continues to present it like it's just another quirky moment of real-life parenting, masking what could very well be endangerment under the guise of relatable content.
Riddle me this, because this is one of science's very greatest mysteries of all time. How do you just move into a new motel that I call it a motel, but do you want me to call it a shelter? Will that appease you? How do you move into a new place, a new abode, and already have it looking like this? She cleans so much. This was her newest, Sunday reset video that she loves to give us, because she has to reset on Sundays because she just works so hard Monday through Friday. Or should I say Monday through Saturday with her kids and, trying to get her husband to listen to her. Stephanie Jenkins works very, very hard. Ducking, dodging, CPS. This is tough work we have going on here. So she needs a reset, right? Guys, I bet you that one of the kids are under there. Okay, that's neither here nor there. But something that I really noticed is how she was switching angles and all through the view. We saw all the beds and stuff this time because poor Deshaun finally has his own bed.
What's also hard to ignore is how performative everything has become. There's no sense of genuine improvement, no actual reset. It's the same messy loop, repackaged over and over. And yet the captions, the hashtags, the upbeat music choices, all of it tries to give the illusion that this is fine, that this is just part of being a real mom. But parenting doesn't have to mean filth. There's a massive difference between a little clutter and a living situation that could put kids' health at risk. What really goes on when the camera isn't recording? If what Stephanie Jenkins shows online already seems this concerning, it makes you wonder just how much worse things are off-screen. In one clip, she briefly reveals their only bathroom, the one shared by the entire family, including small children, and it's shockingly unkempt. The floor tiles are stained, the toilet's surrounded by grime, and everything about it screams neglect. This isn't some guest bathroom tucked away for emergencies. This is the only place in their small motel room where the kids are supposed to bathe and get clean. Yet, it looks more like a public restroom that hasn't seen a mop in weeks.
Alright, it's about time to get this nasty bathroom reset. Since we've been in this room, I've already cleaned this bathroom a couple of times, but this is the first time I'm actually recording the process and doing a deep clean on the process. You'll have to excuse my lack of my voice, I am really tired right now. But anyways, I appreciate y'all watching.
Stephanie narrates that she's cleaned the bathroom a couple of times, but this is her first time recording a deep clean. Meanwhile, she sounds exhausted, but the reality is both she and her partner Drew are home most of the day. They don't work traditional jobs, and there's no daily grind keeping them out of the house. So, how does their one shared living space and only bathroom stay in such a constant state of disarray? At some point, tired stops being a valid excuse, and it becomes clear, their focus isn't on maintaining a livable environment, it's on producing content. And that's what's becoming more obvious. The mess, the clutter, the chaos, it's all part of the brand now. There's a pattern: let the room fall apart, pull out the camera, film a dramatic cleaning session, toss on some emotional commentary, and repeat. It's no longer just life happening, it's a cycle crafted for views. What used to look like a regular mom overwhelmed by life now seems like someone intentionally letting things spiral just to capture it for content. A moment that really caught attention? Stephanie was seen cooking in the middle of absolute filth. Trash piled on the floor, bags of garbage nearby, bits of food stuck to the counter, and her cooking utensils were scattered across the mess. Instead of clearing the area before feeding her children, she cooked through it. Her pans were on dirty surfaces, and the cutting board looked like it had seen better days. Yet she kept going like nothing was wrong. The issue here isn't the meal, it's the unsanitary conditions in which it was made.
I promise I'm not trying to be funny, but Bubba's probably think them ants is his friends. He probably don't know no better. you know how I don't know if you've seen kids, like, especially kids with autism, like, they take items and then they make noises with them and they make friends with them and stuff, then they build stuff with them and stuff like that. So he was probably over there making friends with the ants and stuff like that, like, oh, like, yeah. So I don't know, he probably think it's a game. He don't know no better. He don't know no better, and that's not even his fault. He probably think he in a video game or something. Like, what? That's not even his fault, baby. Like, no jokes, but I just know Bubba's was eating that gravel. Like, he knows no better. Like, he knows no better. You can't tell me Bubba's Tommy was grumbling with gravel, okay? And it's not even his fault. It is not his fault. I'll tell you that. His parents, book them. No bond. Federal prison. Skip jail. Hear me out. Thank you.
Even worse was when she casually mentioned her son playing around with ants. Viewers were horrified, but Stephanie brushed it off, suggesting he probably didn't understand the situation and might have thought it was some kind of game. It's incredibly sad when a child starts to normalize this kind of environment. It's not their fault, they just don't know better. And that's where the real problem lies, when kids are raised in chaos and begin to see it as normal. This isn't just messy parenting or a family having a rough patch, it's dysfunction being showcased as entertainment. And the way it's presented sends a troubling message, that living in filth is somehow a relatable, mom life aesthetic. But this isn't authentic, it's harmful, both to the children living in it and to the audience slowly being desensitized to it. Food safety is another huge concern. In one scene, she washed a cutting board by barely rinsing it under cold water and immediately used it again. That's not cleaning, especially not in a space already surrounded by filth and clutter. And while she made a point to clean the board in that specific clip, viewers have seen it tossed on the ground before, near trash and even by people's shoes. That's a surface meant for food, not the floor. All of this is taking place in a single, cramped motel room where children are growing up, kids who are sleeping beside piles of laundry and eating in spaces that clearly haven't been cleaned properly. The line between raw honesty and actual neglect has been crossed, and instead of addressing it, it's being turned into regular content. Not for reflection. Not for help. Just for clicks. Little ones are crawling around, touching every surface, breathing in whatever lingers in the thick, dirty air of that cramped room. Clothes are stacked to the ceiling, layers of grime cover the floor, and now bugs have started creeping in. This isn't just a matter of being unorganized, this is full-on neglect being passed off as normal. And what makes it worse? This isn't some isolated bad day caught on video. It's the norm. It's what their content revolves around: piles of dishes, unwashed laundry, mold-covered bathrooms. It's practically their aesthetic now. If it's not one mess, it's another, and rather than being embarrassed, they flaunt it. They've turned dysfunction into entertainment, inviting an audience to watch it unfold like a series. But when you take a step back and look at it clearly, the content isn't just messy, it's disturbing. And the worst part is, the people suffering the most, the children, can't even speak up. Living like this isn't just uncomfortable or dirty, it's dangerous. Infants and toddlers, with their still developing immune systems, are especially vulnerable to the bacteria, allergens, and respiratory hazards that come from living in filth. When that much clutter, trash, rotting food, and mold build up in one small space, it's not just messy, it becomes a breeding ground for illness. And yet, they're showcasing this as if it's a lifestyle to aspire to. Let's get one thing straight, being poor isn't shameful. Struggling financially doesn't mean someone is a bad parent. But when you turn your children's unsafe, unsanitary environment into an ongoing reality show for clicks, you cross a very serious line. Stephanie isn't using her platform to raise awareness or to highlight what surviving tough times actually looks like. Instead, she's turned dysfunction into a commodity, something to be packaged and sold. At this point, it's not even about survival. It's about spectacle. She's not cleaning for her kids, she's cleaning for content. She's not sharing her life for support, she's putting her children in unsafe situations for engagement. And the scariest part? There are people in the comments cheering her on, laughing, saying it's relatable or no big deal. because the internet has a way of turning even the worst dysfunction into entertainment. But the kids? They don't get a say. They don't get to choose what parts of their lives are filmed and uploaded. They're just stuck living in it. So the real question is Stephanie just overwhelmed, struggling with motherhood and trying her best? Is she under-resourced, lacking proper support? Or is all of this part of a calculated content strategy to gain sympathy, followers, maybe even monetize the mess? Maybe it's a bit of everything. But none of it changes the fact that those children deserve better. They deserve to be more than just background characters in their parents' content machine. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and stick around.